Okay. All right, everybody. So this is an important story because people think that eczema is normal. It's normal for your child to have eczema. It's absolutely okay. Everything's going to be fine. It's normal. Right. So well, tell everyone your name.
My name is Eva Charles.
And you're actually responsible for today, are you not?
Yes, ma'am. Just to get everything coordinated so you guys could show up. So all you had to do was roll in and get going with the stories.
Roll in we did. Whether we roll out again is another matter altogether. But thank you for helping get people to look at this bus and stuff. Now, so how many children have you got?
I have 2 sons.
How old are they?
They are 11 and then almost 9. So
11
boys.
and almost 9. So let's go right back. Let's talk about when you were pregnant with your first child. I'm going to ask you the same question I ask everybody. Could I have said that you were, at that stage, an anti-vaxxer?
No, I didn't know that anything existed. I did not know that that was a term.
Did you think to question vaccines?
No, I did not. The doctor said this is what we do, and it's for the best of the child, and I said, okay. That was the end of it. That was the end of the conversation.
Did you get vaccines while you were pregnant?
With my first son, I did not. With my second son, they had the big flu shot clinic, and we had one car. And I said, hey, we have an OB appointment. How about I get the car so I can go get myself and my toddler at the time vaccinated while I was 36 weeks pregnant. Didn't think anything about it. So 2 days before I went into labor.
But what made you think you needed a flu vaccine?
Because it was flu season. It was coming up on flu season. It's November.
So no doctor told you this. You just did it yourself.
I thought, we've done all my shots with my other son. He was 2. So they told us the flu shot's also important. So we both went and got jabbed for free. We drove through at one of the parks. Locally.
What do you mean you drove through? Is it like a drive-through?
It was a drive-through. It was a for the mass vaccination when it's like the flu shot. They have a couple different ways they do it. That year they decided it was a setup with tents, and you waited in line in your car and drove through, and then they would come to the car and you would open the car and they would do it while you were sitting in the car and have you sign papers. Yes,
kidding
me?
Yes, ma'am.
So 2 days before I went into labor, that's what I was doing.
So you put your arm out and they jab you while you're in the car.
Yes, ma'am.
And then off you drive.
And then off we drive.
Oh my
That's
goodness
locally here.
Me. Oh my gosh, what with that and the caring van from the last place we were in, whether that was, can't remember already.
I haven't seen that here yet. But
that is horrific. So you did it anyway?
For the flu shot, yeah.
Okay, so you and your toddler, who is how old at that stage?
He was 2 years, 2 months.
Also got a jab in the car?
Yes.
In his car seat? No, listen, please, no, I'm not judging you.
No,
I'm just
not.
fascinated because I
had
can't
to pull his pant leg up because it was November, so it was cold. So I had to pull his pant leg up because they do it in the legs still at that stage. And so I had to get his pant leg pulled up and get it situated. And then, so they're on the opposite because he was behind me, and I helped them do this because I thought we needed this. And I also did it to myself with, an 8 preborn child in my belly, very, very pregnant at that time.
And it was free? You didn't have to pay for it?
It was free. That was why I went. It was free. I waited several hours in line, hoping I did not have to use the restroom while being largely pregnant. And I didn't. We made it.
You said they do this one of 2 ways. That was the first. So what's the
other way I did it, I had both kids with me, so I wasn't pregnant at the time. It was at one of the big community centers. And you waited in line outside, and they would usher you in, and it was like cattle because you had sections where you were outside and then you were in this section. This is where you filled out paperwork, and then we're here, and now it's actually time for the shot. So we were waiting in line for hours for this free shot that I now know we didn't really even need.
And when you went for this flu vaccine, you were not pregnant.
I was not pregnant, but I had both boys. One of them, I was still wearing him like in a sling, so he would have been probably under a year. So it may have been the next season potentially. And it would have been all 3 of us. All 3 of us.
Okay.
Not at the doctor. This was not at a doctor who knew our history. This was just whoever was there. And we filled out a little bit of paperwork.
Does this get put on your medical records, or do they not even? How would they know your medical record? How does it work?
I believe in the Arkansas Health Department now everything is somehow logged. And so I think that might be there, but it may not be. I don't know how that worked with the paperwork portion of that. That's not one that I tracked. I tracked all the other shots. I didn't track when he had the flu shot or when we received the flu shot.
I'm stunned. Okay.
Sorry.
No, I'm glad you told. We need to know about these things.
Yes.
I mean, there might be people watching right now about to go into one of those drive-through flu shots.
Yes, it was a drive-through flu shot clinic.
Okay, so
more efficient.
We've established that you were not an anti-vaxxer, clearly, and we're going to go back to your son's born.
Mm-hmm.
And do you look at him and think, oh my gosh, look at my child is covered in eczema?
So it was my second son. It was the one that I received the
So
flu.
the first son,
my first son received shots until what were considered the kindergarten shots, when you get him around 4 to 5. Nothing that I can see has had an effect on him. My son was the one that I had the flu shot 2 days before I went into labor. We had a normal, uneventful birth. I did not get the Hep B at birth. I wanted to wait. I was like, well, we'll just wait till he's 2 months. But he did.
Why?
I don't know.
That's out of character for you.
I know.
Because we're going to drive through flu. But yeah.
Well, and I allowed the vitamin K shot, which I know is not considered a vaccine, but it does have a high amount of aluminum. Now I know this. At the time I didn't. I never asked for the package insert. So we did the vitamin K at birth. So 2 months old, kid's perfectly fine. He's breastfeeding like a champ, gaining weight. Everything's good. We go in for the 2-month shots because this is what's on the schedule, and this is what I did with my first. So this is what I do. Within a couple weeks, I started noticing eczema. Now I know it was eczema. At the time, the doctor said, well, I think it's a yeast infection in his diaper area.
Right.
Well, then later on, we continued getting shots. Well, okay, now he's got stuff on his cheeks. Well, now we've got stuff on his legs, and it kind of jumped around a little bit and then became more severe. He received shots until 1 year.
Yeah.
So in the U.S., we do 2, 4, and 6 months, and then at the 12 to 15 month mark. So he received those shots. He was about 2 when things were getting more severe with the eczema. And I was seeing an allergist. So we determined at 2.5, I looked back at the age, 2.5, he had testing done. They only did environmental, no food. So it was all on the skin. When you have a 2.5-year-old with skin testing, if you ever research that is really hard to put a child through.
Why? What
well, they prick the skin with all of the potential antigens. And then we watch the skin react to see, is this child allergic to it? To determine what we need to be avoiding.
Right.
So this was all environmental. Grass, pollen, dust mites, mold, cockroaches, 5 different grasses, 5 different trees. So we go through all of this. His back looks horrible because they reacted. The doctor comes in and says, I have never seen a child this young have this severe and this many things they're allergic to. 2.5 years old. And I'm like, okay, something's wrong with him. This is not okay. He's my bubble boy. I can't take him outside. Within a year or so, I was able to get a pediatrician to run blood work for me for food allergies because I had a feeling there was something he was ingesting constantly. The regular allergist wouldn't do it for me, so I had a pediatrician run them. And then at that point, he said, well, there's some food. So we took some foods out. There was a little bit of improvement, but we were still covered, legs covered. He doesn't, I don't have a lot of family photos during that time.
I know.
Because I don't want to see it.
Sure.
I wish now I had it just because he's recovered. The pediatrician said, his eczema is too severe for me to treat. I need to send you to Children's. So anybody in Arkansas knows Children's is the hospital. It's in Little Rock. So we were seeing an allergist at Children's because it was so severe. This doctor was like, this is outside of my wheelhouse. I don't know what else to do for you. So we went to that doctor. They did more testing. They always do testing. But I'll tell you, the dermatologists and allergists say, well, for eczema, topical steroids is what we do. We take the foods out and take these things out of your diet and things, and then we give you topical steroids, which I now know has not been tested for longer than 2 months. I never read the package insert. I did not know that his liver was going to have a hard time with it. He's been 4 years off of topical steroids. It took us 1.5 years to get him off of them. During that time, his skin looked like it had a chemical burn. I have pictures.
Can we see them?
Yeah.
Because I don't think people
So
maybe
the
might be thinking,
the reason I bring this up
cat
is,
type
first off, I didn't read the package insert, so I didn't know what the drug was doing to him. And secondly, I don't know that we would have been there if the eczema hadn't started and I hadn't. Eczema is considered an autoimmune disorder. That has come out in research as an autoimmune disorder. There's also a big link to aluminum with eczema.
It's a massive red flag for
So
vaccines as well.
I've worked my way backwards to, well, this all started right after his 2 month shots. So I've put it all together. Oh my.
That was my elbow.
That was
Moving
your elbow
on.
popping.
Got nothing to do with anything. Nothing to see here, peeps. sorry, that was a loud crack.
No,
Did anyone else hear
it
that
was
crack?
loud.
That was literally my elbow moving.
I had to work backwards on this. What I did find out is soy was one of his big food allergies. Well, guess what is in one of the shots that he received at 2, 4, and 6 months? Soy is in the Prevnar shot.
Really?
The Prevnar
I hate
13.
the Prevnar.
So I worked my way back on that. I questioned all of the allergen shots with, like, he got those in spring. So then I'm thinking, well, all these things were blowing around, and if his body's going to be reacting, well, it might react to something else that's going on, not just what's been injected into his body. I'm looking for the photo. So we went through topical steroid withdrawal, which is about 1.5 years. And that was very, very hard. We did some detoxing from candida, which is an overgrowth in the gut, which was affecting the food allergies. We did a detox of some of the metals. We put him on supplements. We started with the chiropractor.
So the minute you came out of mainstream white coat medicine,
we started seeing healing.
You started seeing him. No, but many people report this over and over again.
We started seeing, now for him, not everybody has issues with the steroids when they stop. Sometimes they are fine. Others, like my son, it's called topical steroid withdrawal, and this is where our life led us because we started with shots. This was 3 months after stopping the steroids.
Oh my goodness, look at that.
The skin is one big organ.
First. This is what we're talking about. This is not okay.
This is getting off of the steroids because we needed steroids, because of the eczema, because we got eczema when the shots started.
All right, let's have a look over here. Just going over to We Are Vaxxed. This is what we're talking about. This is not a mild case. And, you know, eczema is... People don't understand that eczema is not normal. People think
it's an autoimmune disorder
it's normal.
Now. They've come out and said that. So if that's an autoimmune disorder, that means the immune system there's something going on with it.
Right, let's just put that back up. Yeah. Thank you for showing us that.
So that was 3 months after we stopped the steroids. The reason they do the steroids is to keep the immune system at bay because the immune system's gone crazy. But in order to heal him, we needed to get off of the steroids so we could heal his body from that and then start working on everything else.
It's the, you know, one of the biggest things that amazes me and some of maybe many of the peeps here that would be with me from the beginning is how these pediatricians and white coats lie, vaccinate, tell you you're crazy, and then do more harm. And it's not until people come out and go to what we now call real doctors that their children start to have a chance of healing. It is so much bigger than we ever anticipated.
I think we've seen doctors that have helped us of different ways of whether it's chiropractic, whether it's a pediatrician that ran the blood work for me because he believed me when I said I think there's a food involved. The allergist saying, look, I think we can do food challenges and get him off of these foods or get him back on these foods. I think are you ready? He's ready. Let's do this. Let's let him lead a normal life. They want to help. I know they want to help. They have hearts. But where I get confused is if things are coming out that maybe this isn't a good thing to do, then why are we not allowed to question it? Why are you kicking people out? Why are you making them sign a refusal form? Why aren't you reading the package insert and the ingredients on the CDC list yourself? I don't understand that now.
See, I disagree with you. I think they may have started out as doctors to want to help. In this day and age, 2017,
now that I
there is
maybe
no
now,
excuse.
Now, I think when they started, because some of these were older doctors that we had seen, I think that there also weren't as many shots. Even from the time that my oldest child to my youngest child, kindergarten, we homeschool. We started out in public school, but there was a 3-year age gap in schooling. From the time my eldest to the youngest went, they added 2 shots to the kindergarten schedule. And I was like, no, we're not doing this. We've been on our journey. I've been on my journey for about 5 years researching vaccines. It started with the eczema and researching that and the steroids we used, and then I worked backwards. So then I started reading the package insert and saying, what did I put into you? I even asked my child, I asked forgiveness for using the steroids. And I asked forgiveness for giving him the shots. And he says, Mommy, he was probably 5 or 6 at the time, very tender-hearted. He's the one that always knows when something's wrong with me. Like, he just knows. And he said, Mommy, why did you do it? And I put him in my lap and I said, baby, the doctors told me this would be good for you. My understanding was it would help you heal or it would help keep you well, depending on if we were talking about the steroids or the shots. And I said, but I'm sorry because I didn't do enough research. No, I didn't know, and I'm sorry. And of course, in his little voice, he said, well, Mommy, I forgive you. But I had to ask forgiveness because I damaged his body. Because I didn't ask questions. I didn't know. I didn't question anything. I just assumed that what I was told was 100% the truth. I've turned into a skeptic on a lot of things now. And that's hard to balance. My husband balances me to keep me not so crazy about things sometimes, like to totally go off in left field about things.
You know, we're not crazy. We're very passionate.
And not about this, but just in general. Because I question everything now. I challenge everything.
Quite right. With this day and age and the news that we're reading right now, the stuff that goes through our news feed, we have every right to question everything after what's happened to our children. So now, what would have made you listen, do you think? We don't know because we're not back there, but what would have made you? What was your... Because you're right when you say you didn't know. But what is your do you know, did you know moment to a young mom right now?
I try not to put any of my story on them unless they want to hear it. I try not to tell stories. And what I say to them, I'm a researcher. I want to read the studies, and I say, have you read the package insert? Here's a website. And actually the website's pro-vax. they want you to read the package insert, but like they want you to get the shots. And I'll say, have you read it to see what is in it, to see how things might play out? And I'll say, have you read the ingredients? One of my moments, I had no clue the aborted fetal cells were in the vaccines. And being raised in the church, still struggling with my faith right now, but I still believe in God. I still believe personally that abortion is not right. I believe that every life matters. I remember falling to my knees when I found that out. And I said, I've been pro-life all the way. And now I feel like a hypocrite because I didn't know. So what I say is, I'll say, have you read the package insert? Have you looked at the ingredient list? That is neutral information. That is not me putting anything on them. That is saying, have you educated yourself about what you're planning on putting into your child? Just like I would read the ingredients. What you want to know what was in your lunch. Like, this is on the menu. This is what is being put into your lunch. Or this is what is on the back of a prescription bottle. And then you read, the pharmacist says, do you have any questions about the drug? Is there anything you need to know about? It's the same thing. So that's where I start. And I'm hoping that maybe if I had done that, I would have maybe questioned a little bit or waited or did something differently. My son is healed now. He's great. He can eat all the foods he wants. He still has environmental allergens. We still eye swelling, itching, and all that.
Well,
but
it would be. Do you have a blog or anything where you talk about your journey? You need to tell people how you did. This scope is not healing.
Right. No, I understand.
Unfortunately,
no, I understand.
But everybody's desperate to know how you did it, and I have to try and remember that this is literally the injury is what we're covering here.
Yes, and it is the injury of the eczema, and that is where we started with it.
And someone will start up a healing scope, I'm sure, soon. But can people follow you? Are you going to write about this? You must.
I started a private page on Facebook for people who had questions, but it's not.
They're asking if you're on Facebook.
I'm on Facebook. It's Eva Higdon Charles.
Go way slow on that.
Eva. So EVA Higdon, Higdon. That's my maiden name, and then my married name, long time. Charles, Charles. The group that I have is called Living with Eczema Holistically. That's just, we talk about eczema. We talk about what we can do that isn't topical steroids. So anyways, that's a separate thing for me. And friends encouraged me to do that. So I did that a couple years ago.
Wow. Thank you so much for this. Is such an important step. And Dr. Bock, who's a doctor that goes right back to helping us with Bill in the early days, always said, if your child has eczema, that is a massive red. Mm-hmm. That child should never be vaccinated.
No.
It's a massive sign that something is wrong.
But the only way to get out of it, the literature that I found was only talking about the smallpox vaccine because it's directly related to the skin. So that when they talk about with the smallpox, if you have eczema or somebody has eczema, then don't get the smallpox vaccine. But on the others, they're trying to get around it with things that have been researched.
I think a nice dose of measles and chickenpox will sort everything out.
They didn't get the chickenpox.
Just kidding, pigs. Before we get the trolls on board. All right, guys. Thank you so much for having us here, and
You're
maybe
so
having us
happy
here
to be
forever.
here.
because we don't know if the bus is going to move.
We're trying to get you on the road. I know many people want to see you, so we're working on that. Hopefully they've been working on it while I've been in here.
Yeah, I can hear some banging going on, so maybe...
I don't know if that's rain or if they're banging, but...
Okay, we'll work it
We're
out.
trying. I'm trying. I'll get back out there and we'll try to get
you
you on the road so you can see all the rest of your...
And Toby's running around, and I see someone in a Peep shirt running around, so these
Maybe
Peep... I tell you guys, these Peep hoodies are going...
I did get one.
Oh, did you get a Peep hoodie?
I got one.
They're
Peep
really
hoodie.
nice, though, aren't they?
It's soft. I got a shirt, a hat, and a hoodie, and...
The Peep hoodies are... Rich, Charlotte, we're going to have to get some more in. We have to order some more in because the people are loving them. It's getting colder now. So, Peep shirts, and you know, guys, these, if you can't afford them, which I actually can't afford one right now.
I'll buy you one,
You
Molly.
can write Peep. You can I'm just going to take one of my light blue t-shirts. I'm going to write Peep on the back.
There you go.
So as long as people
You'll get paint
recognise
at
you.
the store.
Huh?
You'll get paint at the store. And
Yeah, just make your own.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, we have Peep hats. They're so cool. They're great. I got Toby bought
I got the
one.
Vaxxed hat, not the Peep hat.
Yeah, okay, so there's like a really nice grey,
Mm-hmm.
and it's Vaxxed. It's very dark grey. It's almost black. And then on the back it says Peep. It's really cool. Okay, blah, blah, blah. When next time Toby comes in, I'll show you the Peep hat, because I don't think he's paid for it.
I was going to put it on my hair.
I think
It's
he's
freezing.
stolen it. I'm going to find out. Okay, guys, thank you for being here.